Good morning. I'm up at Olinda Falls picnic area in Dandenong Ranges. It's just, the sun hasn't just come up, it's about 7:15, 20 past 7, at about 10 minutes away, I guess. So I'm going to do a bit of a walk, fairly long walk today. Kind of basically from here up Mechanics Track over Mount Dandenong. Kind of contour around the western slopes of the mountain over to Olinda, and then backtrack, or then kind of loop around here, back to here. So yeah, hopefully I should be finished just after lunch. I'm hoping to grab a coffee or something when I get to Olinda. So we'll see how we go. It's freezing, well, it's cold. It's probably, I saw 3 degrees on the way up here in the car, but it's kind of hovering around 4 here when I got out of the car. So yeah, it's on the chilly side. I wouldn't say it's freezing though. Alright, I'm just dropping down to pick up Mechanics Track now. So this is Mechanics Track here on the right, ducking into the bushes. I'm going to come back from the left. I'll drop down to Olinda Falls at the end of the walk when it's a bit more light around. I can hear a bit of water in the creek, so it might be alright. The falls are still half closed, the lookouts from the storms a few years ago, but anyway, we'll have a look at them when we get there. I hope there's not too many leeches around because I didn't bring any Bushmans on this one. Okay, so I'm into the climb up Mechanics Track. It's a bit sloppy, a bit slippery, but it's a good heart starter. It's certainly colourful with the introduced trees dropping their leaves. So I'm heading up, like I said, I'm on Mechanics Track. I'm going to cross over the Mount Dandenong Tourist Road in a bit, a fair bit, and then climb Mount Dandenong kind of from the, I guess it's the Olinda side or Calyama side. That is the plan anyway. Just gonna be careful I don't slip over on this. It's very slippery with these leaves. Well, the sun is hitting the tops of the trees of the mountain ash. So hopefully it won't be long until I get a bit of warmth back into my fingers. Okay, hit the tourist road. I'm picking up this track on the other side. Mechanics Track's just over there. So this section from the Mount Dandenong Tourist Road up to Ridge Road is a little bit more informal. There's no signpost off Mount Dandenong Tourist Road. However, once you find the track, it's not too bad. After a little patch of native bush, you're walking through these gardens anyway, so they're pretty open. Alright, let's get up to Ridge Road. A few trees down from the storms a few years ago still. Alright, across Ridge Road. Getting a little bit of sun. Just climbing up to Mount Dandenong now. Last time I came through here, it was middle of the night. I was doing a bit of a feral overnighter from Lilydale to Belgrave, I think it was. somewhere on the vlog. That's the eastern suburbs, or northeastern suburbs of Melbourne down there through the trees. I'll get a bit of a view later on, I think. Okay, made it to Mount Dandenong. Place is deserted. There's a bit of fog down the Yarra Valley. The city's looking relatively clear in the distance. So that's Melbourne, obviously. And this is swinging around towards King Lake. Yarra Valley is the one covered in fog down there. Yeah, sky high. And there's more than a few punters that have got sky high up here over the years. I'll give you the goss. Alright, let's get around to Olinda. Time for a coffee, eh? Okay, I made my way back down to Calyama track. They've been doing a bit of burning up here by the look of it. So the forest is a little bit scrappy in spots, but they had a bushfire here this year. I think gave a bit of a scare over near Mount Evelyn somewhere. So Calyama track is the old Calyama plane wreck. Or the old site of it. So I think I'm heading along that for a while. And I assume I'm going to drop down the zigzag track. As you can tell, haven't really paid too much attention to the map. This is a walk that more or less is the same as one of Glen Tempest walks in one of his Melbourne walking. I might be walking Victoria books, but I haven't even got the book with me. I'm just using online maps today on this one. I made up a bit of a map on all trails, so I've got a rough idea. So this is the memorial to the Calyama, the plane, the Calyama that crashed around here in 1938. 18 people died. There was no survivors. It's hard to kind of comprehend that in this day and age. I'm gathering that's one of the television towers. I don't know if it's 10 or 7 or what it is. So I'm heading around towards Burke's Lookout now. I've been over in South Australia with Johanna for a while and we haven't had any rain, but judging by some of the mud and water around, looks like Melbourne's had a bit of rain. So this is the hang glider point. I think this is Burke's Lookout. So it's the Channel 10 tower, obviously. Okay, so I'm making my way down the zigzag track. So I'm on Channel 10 track now. A bit of public art. Well, this is new. I wonder if that's an old grinding stone there. Looks like it could be. So yeah, like I said, I'm on Channel 10 track now, kind of contouring around the side of the mountain. So the reveal 2025. Well, that would explain it. I've been down here a lot, but I've never seen it, so it's pretty new. I don't mind a bit of public art, particularly if it's Indigenous inspired on some of these walks. So I'm on Dandenong Creek track now. I'd noticed this was closed for a long time. I assumed it was because of the storms, but it may have been because they were doing that art installation maybe down on Channel 10 track. Slowly inching my way closer to a coffee. Slow being the operative word though. So this is the Basin Olinda Road. I'm crossing over, so I'm going to pick up a faint track that climbs up to that crest of that spur where I'll meet a four-wheel drive track from memory. If I'm going to pick up leeches, I think this will be the bit. As you're gathering, I have done this walk, more or less this walk anyway before, but it has been a very long time. Okay, so I'm walking up the crest of that spur now on range track. I'm about to pop out the top, thankfully, because it's a fair climb. And I'm basically on the outskirts of Olinda now, so time to wander down into the village and have something to eat and have something to drink, I think. Sun's out, it's not really warm, probably 7 or 8 degrees, I guess. It's nice for walking though. So even though I'm in suburbs approaching Olinda, it's still pretty nice walking through here. Okay, I'm in Olinda. This is the Mount Dandenong tourist road I'm crossing again. Let's find somewhere out of the cold where I can grab something to eat and drink. Looks like there might be something open down here. You can see some wood coming up from a fireplace. I'm heading straight through town, straight ahead once I get a hot drink. Well, I'm successfully fortifying myself for the rest of the walk. Looks yummy. Okay, so just enjoyed my scones and cream, 2 hot chocolates. Highly recommend the Olinda Cafe if you're in town. Speaking of town, time for me to grab my takeaway and get out of town. So I'm just leaving Olinda, heading out past the Oval, heading towards the R.J. Homer arboretum, I think is that. Arboretum. And then I'm, swinging back series of tracks towards Olinda Falls. So I'm probably, I don't know, I guess I'm halfway, maybe a bit more. Suitably kind of rested and well fed now. Okay, I've been dropping down towards the arboretum. I'm picking up rock track, which will kind of skirt me around the top. Pretty much between R.J. Hamer Arboretum and the Botanic Gardens, and I think it might be the golf course or something. So those colourful trees, they're the arboretum. It's down the valley there. This is Lookout Rock. It's cold, but it's sunny. So fairly nice walking conditions, really. So I've obviously just touched the arboretum. These are Japanese maple, according to the sign. Whatever they are, they're very pretty. So that's the Dandenong Ranges Botanic Gardens, the other side of that big fence, that wire fence, if you can see it. Did a walk there a few weeks ago, which was a very pleasant little surprise. I'd never walked in there before. Off to my right is the Yarra Valley, but you can kind of get glimpses through the trees, but that's pretty much all it is, glimpses. So I'm just contouring along the side of the hills here, slowly making my way towards Olinda Falls. Okay, I'm back at Mechanics Track. Goes up the gully to the left there. That's where I took off this morning. I'm going to swing around to the right down the creek and check out Olinda Falls. I'm gathering it's still kind of half closed. It's been half closed for a few years now, but I'll get a look at the top bit of the falls anyway. All right, I'm at the falls. That's the track to the lower falls, which is the better view. It's been closed for many a years. Seeing I'm a responsible senior citizen, I won't jump the fence or duck through there. We'll go to the upper lookout. Okay, I'm back at the picnic area. I'll spin the camera and sign off, I think. Okay, pretty well back. I can see the car park up there in the ute. A little Dandenong Ranges walk came out at about, I think it was about 15.7 k's, climbed about 670 metres, so there's a bit of climbing in it. I've alluded to it already, but it's more or less the walk Glen Tempest wrote up in one of his I think walks in Victoria book. If I can, I'll get a photo of the book and stick it in the slide at the end. It's a good walk, particularly in in autumn. It's the trees, a lot of like the big estates around here have got deciduous trees and they change colour. The actual picnic ground itself, just behind me, toilets are locked. The falls are only visible from the top. It's kind of a bit sad. Like a lot of Parks Victoria assets, got no budget, no money getting spent. Haven't had money for decades, all of these places, unfortunately. But the walking's still quite good. And there are some picnic tables scattered around here if you wanted to have a picnic. I don't know if you can see them behind me there. All right, so yeah, look, I've done this walk. This is at least the second, maybe the third time, but I've walked up here a fair bit. So I kind of like this area. It's relatively close to home for me. So I'm only about 40 minutes from home. All right, I will catch you on the next one. Take it easy.